G'day guys, Carlos from Go Travel. Today with the Patrol, we're playing with power. We're going to get a dual battery setup. Well, something not quite traditional as a dual battery setup, but auxiliary power nonetheless. This is what I'm going to try and make work. So, the main thing we power is a 12 volt fridge. I have got my hands on a Companion Rover 70. So what this is, a 70 amp hour lithium power station. I decided with the Patrol that we're going to do things a little bit differently. We're not going to mount a heavy dual battery system in it. So after having the dual battery set up in the Fortuner, I worked out there's only a few things I really need power with. Camp lights, which as you've seen, I've already done that differently. The fridge, charging my phone, and occasionally charging some camera gear. So I want to talk about why I decided that I'm going to go with a power pack option. I've looked at these for a lot of years and I've ummed and ahed about them. I thought it's finally time I'll give it a go. The main reason I'm changed my opinion is the lithium. Old school power setup I had in the Fortuner, this is about the equivalent. So I can draw the same amount of power out of this tiny unit as I could out of the main battery setup in the Fortuner. The first big thing with this was weight. So this weighs under 7 kilos. It's like, that's effortless. For those that aren't familiar with a deep cycle dual battery setup, my last 120 amp hour slimline battery weighed 32 kilos. So to make this a viable option, you've got to be able to charge it on the run. And that's one thing Companion have done well. Get an Anderson plug, you can run it on solar, so when you're stopped, you can still charge it. You can also, on the run, charge it on SIG. As for power options with this thing, so it's got 4 USB outlets on the front, so all 2.4 amp. It's got a USB-C, then you turn around, it's got the Anderson input-output. So depending on what you want to do with that, whether you're trying to charge it, that's where you plug in to charge it, or that's where you also can plug in this little 50 amp hour Anderson adapter, obviously run power through to the Anderson, or you can run solar input via that. Then it's got a 12 volt SIG socket, which most things have, and then it has also got 12 volt 2-pin. It's got a little torch. To be honest, probably never will use that little torch. It's definitely bright though. It's strange, but I suppose it would be the world's longest lasting torch. A tiny little LED running off 70 amp hours of lithium, but whatever. Marine plugs as well, so you know that your sockets are going to be secure when you put them in. There's a little power button here, so you hold that button in and then turns it on, and that gives you power. Alright, then we turn the fridge on. You can see on the panel on the front, it tells you how many watts you're drawing. It's also worth mentioning that the Companion Rover 70 has its own MPPT built-in charger for solar input, so all you do is plug your solar panels directly in. You don't need a secondary charger for this, so that makes it nice and easy. I think overall, the construction of it, like it's a nice, shiny, that's metal construction. The handle feels nice and solid. All of it feels good quality, like it's a well-built product. Again, the size of it, it's for what it can do is tiny. So you can also run more than one thing at a time. So you know, you can definitely charge your phone whilst running your fridge, which is cool. That's another thing with the Companion Power Pack. It's got a heap of built-in protection. So over temp, under temp, over voltage, under voltage, over current, short circuit, incorrect polarity. Basically, you shouldn't be able to wreck this thing. This thing should be as safe as they come when it comes to battery setups or power setups. I think for the portability, the easy use, I think it's going to be a good option. Obviously, we will test it out and we'll give you some feedback along the way as we go. But I'm confident this is going to be a bloody great little bit of gear. So these are my Companion 200 watt solar panels. I've got the Anderson adapter plugged into the back of the Companion 70, and then the solar panels just plugged straight in. Now it appears that it is receiving a 112 watt charge whilst putting 60 watt out to run the fridge. But that's cool. So the fact that you can run solar in whilst battery power out to the fridge, that's awesome. So not only is the fridge getting cold or staying cold, we're charging the battery, so more power's going in that's coming out. Of course, I'm gonna have to change the way I do things. I'm gonna have to think about setting solar panels up when I get to camp. Overall, that is a great setup. You're not gonna get an easier setup than this. Power pack, solar input, being able to charge it at home, charge it in the car. I'm confident it's gonna be a good thing. Obviously we'll get a mounting system set up for it, we'll test it in the real world, and we'll give you some more feedback as we go. But as for simple dual battery auxiliary power, it doesn't get much easier than this. Literally take it out of the box, plug it in, use it, and done. I will come up with a better mounting system than this, but for the time being, that's it. Fridge at temperature, drawing nothing. Fridge actually sitting at -1. We're gonna run a real world test. 90 cans of beer. Well, 89, I got thirsty. I'm just gonna leave this in the car for the next few days and we'll see how it goes. We'll run it off nothing but the Companion Rover 70 and we'll see how long it takes for the fridge to draw the battery to a level where it's gonna stop working. So we'll turn the box to 2 degrees. So this will try and get to 2 degrees. When it gets to 2 degrees, it'll turn the compressor off and then it'll start drawing next to no power. So g'day guys. So we're at about 23 hours. The battery pack says 1%, but the fridge still thinks there's battery in there. The fridge is still running at this point. So beer's definitely still cold. Everything's still cold, everything's still working. So I'm gonna let this play out. I'm gonna keep it going. We'll see what happens. Just to make sure it is still running, I did just plug my phone in. So, I don't know if you can see that, but it is charging. And yes, apparently I was sitting at 50 cents, whatever. Good morning guys. So the power pack turned off somewhere between 11 o'clock last night and 2 o'clock. So somewhere between 33 and 36 hours it ran this fridge for with no input. So it takes me 40 minutes to get home from work. The power pack was at 0 when I left. So what I did, I just plugged it into the factory SIG socket. So in 40 minutes, we got 10% charge and we're bringing in 104 watt. That charge is not running the fridge, so I just left the fridge off. What I will do, I've got to go to work a few more times over the weekend, so I might just leave this plugged in and we'll see what we're at by the end of the weekend. With 5 trips to and from work, we got it to about 30%. So the things I like about it, it's got multiple ways of charging it. I think that's a great idea. I can charge it in the car whilst running the fridge off it. So there is advantages there. It is somewhat similar to a dual battery system. Obviously we'll have to test that and just see input versus output and see if it's viable to do it that way. It does have plenty of outputs on it. The 2-pin output to start with I wasn't a big fan of. I thought that was probably a waste of an output. Now I understand what it is and the benefits of it. I think I'm going to change my fridge over to that 2-pin output. I think that's a better setup, the way it screws in and locks in and you guarantee it stays in. As for USB outputs and that, I think that's good. The light, well, here not there for me. The only thing I think Companion could have done better with it, I would have liked to see the display and all the outlets on the same side. So I think the reason they've done it 2-sided is to be able to keep it compact. That'd be my only thing I think you could do better, because I would create a few more mounting options for you, like securing options. I'm confident that it's going to have enough power to do what we need it to do. After all my tests, I'm confident that this is going to be a good thing in the real world. We got 33 plus hours out of it, just it running the fridge alone, no charge input. Obviously in the real world, we'll be putting charge into it whilst taking charge out. So I think we'll be able to balance it nicely. The only thing I need to do now is just come up with a mounting option for it. I think we'll end up going with the false floor option and just have a couple of straps to secure it in and be able to move it around. For exact stats and figures, I'll put the link below in the description so then you can check it out yourself. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Is it a viable option as a dual battery? Do you think I'm mad? Do you think it's genius? Let me know, comment in below. If you like what you see, feel free to subscribe. And until next time guys, go travel.